Tucker says Iran knows this, which is why they aren't building one. They're not building a nuclear weapon. Iran also knows it's unwise to give up its weapons programs entirely. So now he's trying to say that Iran isn't building one, but also they are building one, because if they were to give up building one, then bad things would happen.
All right, one point for Tucker there. It would be unwise for Iran to demilitarize. Of course. Israel is very much in a threatening posture to them right now, at least with the current leadership. Even if I was Iran and we were like, I wanted to continue funding my proxies and building nuclear facilities, even if I had the intention of never launching a nuclear bomb, never destabilizing the Middle East in any meaningful capacity, never launching this war with Israel, I would have to keep in my mind the possibility that Israel might instigate that war. I don't think that is beyond them. I don't think Netanyahu wants to do that without American support. Who knows? Like, seriously, who knows? The amount of crazy things that government has said and come up with.
Seems to contradict itself, but all right. Muammar Gaddafi tried that and wound up sodomized with a bayonet. Okay, so, I do agree with Tucker. The American actions in the overthrow of Gaddafi were a disgrace. I said so at the time. The Hillary Clinton-led intervention in Libya was a disaster area. It never should have happened. Muammar Gaddafi had given up his nuclear weapons, and the attempted overthrow and successful overthrow of the government of Libya did not end in good fashion for the United States, considering the burning of the embassy in Benghazi and the killing of our diplomats.
All right, I disagree with both Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. They're leaving out a lot of nuance in Libya. Now, Libya is one of those cases where you can make really good arguments for both sides, but it feels like a lot of the political spectrum has just fallen on the side of it was a disaster, so everything was a mistake. No. Saying that the NATO intervention in Libya, which ended up killing Gaddafi, at least the rebels ended up killing him because of NATO intervention, was bad because it led to instability, which then led to Al-Qaeda having more influence and possibly increasing their ability to carry out the attack that they eventually did carry out against the U.S. embassy in Benghazi. That argument is kind of like saying the Afghanistan pullout was a disaster because ISIS suicide bombers killed 100 Afghans and 13 service members. Like, to some extent, you can't control everything. I don't think we could have controlled the ISIS bombing at Kabul. I don't think we could have controlled the Benghazi embassy burning. The real question that we should be answering with Libya is, did we save lives by killing Gaddafi's regime or like incapacitating him? And the answer to that is yes. I think we did. I think we did save lives by killing Gaddafi. However, we did destabilize Libya for the next decade. So there's a trade-off. Either you let Gaddafi do his thing, take the chance that he'll kill 600,000 people in Benghazi, as he said he would do in his speeches, and after he would kill those people, there would be stability in Libya. Or you take the second path, which is the path we've taken, where we kill Gaddafi, and it leads to an unstable Libya for the next decade, but a less deadly Libya. Right after Gaddafi, only 20,000 people died in that civil war, in both Libyan civil wars. So 20,000 versus, killing every man, woman, and child in Benghazi and whatever else Gaddafi would have taken over in eastern Libya. It's a tough question. We saved lives, but we immiserated a lot of people. So I think Tucker and Ben Shapiro are dramatically oversimplifying that.
He says as soon as Gaddafi disarmed, NATO killed him. Iran's leaders saw that happen. They learned the obvious lesson. So why is Mark Levin once again hyperventilating about weapons of mass destruction to distract you from the real goal, which is...
But they didn't kill him because he disarmed. They killed him because of the wild stuff he was saying about the massacres he was about to commit. And it was not beyond Gaddafi to commit those massacres. Like, he executed thousands of people in 2 days. He absolutely ruled with a violent iron fist. Like, that was not beyond him.
Regime change. Young Americans headed back to the Middle East to topple yet another government. Okay, literally no one says this. No one. Mark hasn't said this. I haven't said this. No one has said that we should be sending hundreds of thousands of American troops to topple the regime in Iran. No one. Zero people. So that is total projection or speculation by Tucker. And it's basically John Kerry, Barack Obama logic.
That's true. I mean, we would not do that. We would likely come to some agreement or armistice. I don't know. In a war with Iran, and it wouldn't result in the entire regime change. Regime change is a lot harder than reaching a peace deal sort of mid-war, right? So that's probably what would happen. I don't know why Tucker said that. It's kind of stupid, but...
You have to let Iran go nuclear, or you have to topple the regime. There's no third choice. And that if you actually do strike Iran's nuclear facility, or if Israel strikes Iran's nuclear facilities, that then there will be World War III, which is a point that Tucker will get to in a moment. He says virtually no one will say this out loud. America's record of overthrowing foreign leaders is so embarrassingly counterproductive that regime change has become a synonym for disaster. Officially, no one supports it. So instead of...
I mean, everyone says that out loud. That's become the sort of standard opinion nowadays, and it kind of annoys me because I think that the U.S. can do a lot of good in intervention. Military intervention is just the sharpest tool in our toolbox. Like, you can do a lot of damage or you can do a lot of good. And I think we've done both in history. And I don't think it's right to say we shouldn't intervene at all. Like, there are times when we should absolutely intervene.
telling the truth about their motives, they manufacture hysteria. A country like Iran can never have the bomb. They'll nuke LA. We have to act now. Well, I've never suggested that Iran is going to nuke Los Angeles. I've suggested that Iran is a threat to all of our regional allies at the very least, and will reshape the map of the Middle East, which has serious resource implication and alliance implications for countries that Tucker likes, like Qatar, for example, or the UAE, or Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and UAE are virulently opposed to an Iran nuclear program. So, talking about manufacturing hysteria, then he gets to the manufacturing hysteria section here. He says they don't really mean this, and you can tell they don't by what they omit. At least two of Iran's neighbors, both Islamic nations, already have nuclear weapons. So he says that fact should scare the hell out of Mark Levin. So first of all, which? I mean, that's fat. Is there a second one? I know Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Is there another nuclear-armed Muslim nation there? If so, Tucker should probably tell us about that. That seems like kind of a problem. Unless he's aware of, again, facts that we are not aware of, and I don't know why he would be privy to such facts. Says that fact should scare the hell out of Mark Levin, yet for some reason he never mentions it. How come? Because it's not the weapons he hates, it's the ideology of the Iranian government, which is why he's lobbying to overthrow it. Well,
I partly agree with that. The reason why Iran is being demonized in this conflict, it's Iran in the context of Israel. And these ultra pro-Israel people connect that to Iran and the proxies that they fund and say, we're going to do anything, even if it involves dropping bombs on Iran, on their nuclear facilities, civilian and military use nuclear facilities, to stop that. And it's the double standard. It's not worth it to bomb Iranian nuclear facilities. It is worth it to come to an agreement like the JCPOA.
It's not just the weapons, it is also the ideology. Like the UK has nuclear weapons, and I don't oppose the UK having nuclear weapons because their ideology does not oppose the West and call us the Great Satan. So yeah, I'm a little more concerned when a country that calls America the Great Satan has nuclear weapons than when France has nuclear weapons, or Israel has nuclear weapons, or India has nuclear weapons. He says it goes without saying there are very few Trump voters who'd support a regime change war in Iran. I agree. I would not support a regime change war in Iran that involves hundreds of thousands of American troops. Agree. Donald Trump has argued loudly against reckless lunacy like this. Trump ran for president as a peace candidate. That's what made him different from conventional Republicans. It's why he won. Well, actually, that's not true. He ran as a peace through strength candidate, and then during his first term, he actually made that happen with the Abraham Accords by killing Qasem Soleimani. I still am wondering what Tucker's opinion is on the killing of Qasem Soleimani.
It was stupid. It didn't stop anything Iran was doing. They immediately replaced him with his deputy. Like, what's his point? The assassination of Soleimani led to the Abraham Accords? That has nothing to... the two events have nothing to do with each other, in reality. Abraham Accords went through because we gave the nations that agreed to, recognize Israel and do business with them in a freer trade agreement. We gave them something. Like, we gave Morocco West Sahara. We recognized that. We unfroze funds. We basically agreed to sell weapons. We gave them a bunch of benefits to joining Israel in this broader alliance. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't have any interest to do that on their own, but we kind of offered something on the table to get them to do that. We didn't say, oh, let's go attack Iran together, or look, Iran is so weak because we just killed one of their military commanders, so let's form an alliance. That does not make sense. The Soleimani has nothing to do with this. It was a stupid assassination. It had no big downsides, but it also had zero upside.